Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Short Sports Show. I'm your host, Daniel Short. Today is Monday, October 7th, 2013, and we got a pretty early show at 10 o'clock Pacific time. It's probably normal time for everybody else, being in the East Coast or Central. They got 12 o'clock right now and then 1 o'clock, so it might be good for y'all right now. Kind of tired, but really have a good show. Hopefully, can fit everything in this episode because if not, there's so much to talk about. So just a great week for both college football and the NFL. So let's go ahead and get on to it. But before we get into it, make sure you follow me on Twitter at short_sports24-7. Also on Facebook, The Short Sports Show. And if you like this episode and all the other ones, if you missed this episode and you want to hear all the other ones as well, make sure you follow me on the Spreaker. Just click the follow button. Really helps me out. Hopefully, I can get partnered with iHeartRadio pretty soon. By you clicking that follow button, really helps. Also, again, like I said, YouTube. Just type in the Short Sports Show, and you got me there. So, college football was a good week for most people. For me, it was kind of sad, but it was still a good week. Sadly, my team lost. The TCU Horned Frogs. They lost, losing to Oklahoma 20-17, but I mean, it could have been a whole lot worse. TCU did not even have a first down to start. Well, the first half of the game, they did not get a first down. They went 7 straight 3-and-outs and had only about 16 yards of total offense in the first half. And the defense has done a great job. They've been doing a lot more than asked. And offensively, it's a bad year for TCU. Hopefully in the offseason, we'll fire the offensive coordinator and go get someone like maybe from Oregon or somebody, get that kind of offense going for TCU. But, this year's going to be a very tough year because of no offense. You're not going to win. Thankfully we have a great defense, but TCU did fall 20-17. UCLA escapes a scare at Utah, 34-27. Got away. Looked like Utah was going to get the upset, but UCLA did get the win. Then Stanford holds on against UW, University of Washington, 31-28. And College Game Day will be here in Seattle, Washington, when Oregon comes over to play Washington next Saturday, or this upcoming Saturday, I guess I could say. And I'm really excited. I want to go. I do work, so I don't know, but it'd just be really awesome because I watch it every Saturday, every time I wake up in the morning, put on ESPN, kabam, and I always watch that show, and it'd be cool to be a part of it, but we'll just have to see. Ohio State scores 20 points in the fourth quarter to hold on with the victory against Northwestern, 40-30, and it looked like Northwestern was going to have it. I saw it was about 30 to 20. In the game of the fourth quarter, and I was beginning of the fourth quarter, and I was like, Northwestern might actually do it. They're gonna knock off Ohio State. And to be honest with you, that was the last team. Like I said in the last show, that was the last team to knock off Ohio State because of maybe Penn State could do it, but Penn State's gonna be on the road at Ohio State, so that's gonna be tough. And Michigan, they're so back and forth on how they perform, and Ohio State looks like they're going to be in a national championship. It's just who it's going to be with. Is it going to be Clemson? Is it going to be Alabama? Is it going to be Oregon? Is it going to be Stanford? It's going to be one of those teams, and sadly, we're going to have to see Ohio State. I'm not a huge fan of Ohio State, so I'm kind of upset that, they're going to get, most likely going to get there, but hopefully Penn State knocks them off. But Georgia and Tennessee go into overtime. I think I said when I was doing my predictions, I think I said it was a close game, but maybe I didn't. I don't really know. I've been trying to go for Tennessee this year because I wanted them to be a really good SEC team and overall really good team, but they haven't. I went against Oregon when Tennessee played them. That didn't happen. And now, Georgia, they went into overtime. So, that's pretty solid moral victory for Georgia to be, unranked and playing the number 6 team in the nation and going into overtime, but they did lose 34-31. Florida State and Jameis Winston absolutely dominated Maryland, 63-0. Maryland came into the game number 25 in the nation, and I said it was going to be close. I was even on the upset alert for Florida State because you know how Florida State's defense was very, very bad I guess now 2 weeks ago against Boston College, and then now playing Maryland, who's had a pretty good offense going into the game and completely got shut down. Jameis Winston had an amazing play. If you saw my YouTube channel, I had a discussion video that you could put on the comment section. Tell me what you thought about it. But he could be the next freshman Heisman quarterback or freshman quarterback to win the Heisman this year. And it's going to be crazy how back-to-back we're going to have freshman Heisman quarterbacks or freshman quarterback that wins the Heisman. I keep mixing it up. But it's interesting to see the new breed of quarterbacks, how they're so developed from high school to college so quickly and able to perform great. I mean, he had to play just like Johnny Manziel did. Maybe not as good, but Jameis Winston was in the pocket and escaped 2 tacklers and threw a touchdown pass, and it was amazing. So go check out the video on YouTube, The Short Sports Show, and tell me what you think about what's going on with the new quarterbacks, and also Jameis Winston, what his shot of winning the Heisman is. Baylor puts up 73 points on West Virginia. 73-42 was the final score. And I talked about it a few episodes back, Baylor's offense and who they were as a real team. And I think their quarterback came out and said apparently 70 points is not enough to sway the doubters. And to be honest with you, West Virginia's defense has been terrible, not only this year but last year. I know they had a good game against Oklahoma State, but I think that's more Oklahoma State lost than West Virginia won, and that Oklahoma State didn't take them seriously. But Baylor is just I'm not going to get too much into it because I'm just going to repeat myself, but they're just playing very weak games, in their non-conference games, and so they're able to just score so easily and find a rhythm. When they play Oklahoma, that's going to be a tough game for them, and I think that 70 points is going to drop to maybe at most 30 points, and then everything's going to start dropping. Just mark my words. Just hear me out. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I guarantee you I won't be wrong. And when they play Oklahoma, then it's going to start going downhill for Baylor and with losses and points. Notre Dame beats Arizona State 37-34 at Cowboys Stadium, also known as AT&T Stadium, or vice versa. It was actually AT. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, Notre Dame won. So I think they are now back in the top 25. Don't have it with me, but K-State almost had another upset, or actually this was their first upset over Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State seems like they're falling down now. With the 33-29 win over K-State, Oklahoma did. Oklahoma State it seems like they had so much hype and how they were doing in the season. And then when they lost to West Virginia, they dropped 10 spots. And now struggling against K-State, who I guess we kind of could see that was going to be a close game. But the quarterback for Florida State really blew it for them, threw an interception on their last drive and put Oklahoma State back in field goal range, but it didn't matter. They just ran out the time and won the game. But it was just, I was rooting for K-State. I was hoping they would get the victory, but couldn't get it done. Auburn dominates Ole Miss 30-22, and Ole Miss again just dropped. Such good teams at the beginning of the year, and just they play one game and just like that you're out. NCAA is adding more bowl games this year. They're adding one in the Bahamas, one in Boca Raton, and also in Miami. This is all going to be for next year, and the reason they're doing it is because of the playoffs that are going to be happening next year instead of the BCS bowl games. They needed to have some for the smaller schools because obviously for next year the playoffs, only 4 teams will be in the playoffs, and obviously these small little schools will not have a chance to be in the playoffs. So they will, as I try to switch over here, there we go. They will add, these are only for the smaller schools, like I said, for the Sun Belt, Mountain West, MAC, AAC, Conference USA, and that's about it. That'll make a total of 39 total bowl games for next year. And speaking of the playoff committee, I have a little bit of differences on who they added. Now, I really feel like the NCAA playoff committee should have been former players that were, actual stars and guys that have made a huge influence to college football. Also, former coaches, athletic directors, stuff like that. But for people that don't know, Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State, will be on the playoff committee. Now, she has something with Stanford. I don't really know as I try to read through here. But here are the people that will be in the playoff committee. It will be Tom Osborne, former Nebraska athletic director, Tyrone Willingham, the former coach at Stanford, Notre Dame, and Washington. In addition with all those, it will be former Big East Commissioner Mike Transgy, something like that. But it's just like, I just thought about it. It was like, why would you have a former Big East Commissioner when that conference just died as a playoff committee? If he doesn't know how to keep a conference going, how is he going to know how to have a playoff, committee do the right thing? Anyways, athletic directors Barry Alvarez from Wisconsin, Jeff Long from Arkansas, Oliver Luck from West Virginia. Yes, that is the dad of Andrew Luck, with quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Dan Radakovic, something like that, from Clemson. Steve Weinberg, a longtime former sports writer at USA Today, and former NCAA Executive Vice President Tom something have been chosen on the committee, and that's about it. So that is a playoff committee. I don't necessarily agree with most of them being there. Tom Osborne and what was the other guy? Barry Alvarez. I do agree with them being there. I think that's very good for them to be on there, but I feel like they could have added a whole lot more people, or substitute a few people that shouldn't be in there that don't really know. And that, anyways, Georgia Bulldogs lost running back Keith Marshall and wide receiver Justin Scott Wesley for the season with a torn ACL that occurred during the Tennessee game. It's a huge loss for Georgia, losing Keith Marshall. He was the backup running back for Todd Gurley, who's the starter, who's also dealing with some injuries. And Keith Marshall is a very, very solid running back who would take over for Todd Gurley once he's gone, but it's sad to see him go out. Miami fired their head coach. Yes, Miami of Ohio, that is. They fired their head coach after a 21-9 loss to Central Michigan at home, dropping him to 0-5 on the season. He was 8-21 as a head coach. Mike Bath is now the intern head coach, and the offensive coordinator was also fired. But see, I did that little twist there, say Miami. Yeah, okay, whatever. Texas University Longhorns, not University of. Quarterback David Ash is out for the Red River rivalry. Obviously, that's Texas-Oklahoma. Case McCoy will make his third straight start for the year. Texas lost to Oklahoma 63-21 last year, and could this be the last game for Mac Brown? Now, last year, like I just said, 63-21. That was the worst loss Texas has ever had against Oklahoma, and that was, Texas has been going downhill since 2009, 2010 or 11. Either way, they've been going downhill, and we all know the story for this year. It's kind of weird because I don't see Texas firing Mac Brown in the middle of the year, but this could be the game. I mean, this is what gets coaches fired. They can lose every single game, but if they win this game or they win, like an Auburn-Alabama rivalry, if they win that major game, that could save their job. And this game, this could drop. Texas, should have lost last week against Iowa State. And losing this game again, which Mac Brown has a under 500 record against Bob Stoops from Oklahoma, this could be the game, especially if it ends up in that type of score. And Oklahoma's very, very good this year, both offensively and defensively. So it'll be a great game to watch, and this could be the last game for Mac Brown. But now let's move on to the NFL, recapping the NFL. And I think we all know which game I'm going to talk about, but we're going to save the best for last. And we'll start with the worst, which wasn't Jacksonville. It was my San Diego Chargers losing to the Oakland Raiders 27-17. Rivers had 3 interceptions, and that was the same team who played last night. That was the same team that the Charger fans have seen over the past few years, and it's something we didn't want to see ever again. Rivers was just off key, receivers were off key, and San Diego has the worst secondary in the NFL, and I'm not just saying that out of frustration. Look at the stats, and we are for sure either 30th or 32nd, which is last in the NFL in pass defense. And look at the teams we have to play. We have to play the Chiefs, who somehow are really great this year, and a major team, the Denver Broncos, who happen to be an Oregon and an Alabama mixed together in the NFL. That's what they are. San Diego has to play them twice this year. So that's another 4 losses on the year. We already have 3. You're looking at most a 9-7 record now. And losing to Oakland is just a beatdown. I mean, San Diego had won the last 16 of the last 19 games against Oakland Raiders, and then dropping this game after knowing that the Chargers could have been 5-0 to start the year. It's a little disappointing. So yeah, oh well. Anyways, Bengals defeat the Patriots 13-6 in Tom Brady's 52 touchdown streak of 52 games of having at least 1 touchdown. There we go. Streak ended yesterday after not even throwing a touchdown. So I was hoping he would go for the record. Drew Brees just set it last year with 55, 59. So I was hoping that Tom Brady could break that. That's not going to happen. So sad to see that with the 13-6 win for the Bengals. Saints improved to 5-0 with a win over the Bears, 26-18. Packers are now at 500 with a 22-9 victory over the Lions. Chiefs 5-0. Wow. How I bet you guys didn't think that was ever going to be set this year. But the Chiefs are 5-0, 26-17 win over the Tennessee Titans. And the Colts come back against the Seattle Seahawks, 34-28. And Seahawks just kind of are playing a little too close games than they shouldn't. They dominate the 49ers. They're the best team in the NFL. And then they start struggling. So Seahawks need to find some kind of way. And I know their offensive line has took a hit with 2 or 3 starters out. The past 2 games. So that really hurts, not only your running game, but your passing game for Russell Wilson, having to always, make a run. And in the fourth quarter, he was having to do, that's when I started watching the game. So he might have done it earlier in the game too, but during the fourth quarter, he was running a lot, trying to get out of the pocket because, there was no pocket. It was just every 1.5 second, it was gone just like that. And so he had to make something happen. So the Colts did win 34-28. Ravens get a solid win over the Dolphins on the road, 26-23. And the poor teams right now, the Giants and the Jacksonville Jaguars, both dropped to 0-5 with loss to Philadelphia and St. Louis Rams, respectively. You always have to say respectively. But it's crazy to see the Giants, Jaguars, and the just slipped my mind. Steelers, there we go. I was going to say New England Steelers. I don't know why. The Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants, and Jacksonville Jaguars have yet to win a game. And I doubt anybody other than, Jacksonville, I doubt we would say the top 3 picks for next year's draft, if it were to happen today, it would be Jacksonville, Giants, Steelers with the top 3 picks. That was different. So we'll have to see from there. And I just don't understand why the Giants are struggling. Ruben Randle had a great game, and it seems like offensively you got things. You have weapons, is what I'm trying to say, and you can't execute a good game plan, and especially against a Philadelphia defense, which is pretty bad as well. So it's very mind-boggling. It's a new word right there, mind-boggling. Anyways, 49ers dominate the Texans 34-3. And like I said, Texans are not the same. They have some big issues. And with the 4th straight game, Matt Schaub threw his pick 6 special yesterday. And I feel bad for him. I mean, knowing that's in your mind, knowing that, hey, in the past 3 straight games, I have thrown a pick six. People are making fun of me, saying a pick six special. And then going out and doing it with, the first or second pass of the game. So, poor Matt Schaub. Cards beat the Panthers 22-6, and we saved the best for last. The Denver Broncos, game of the year. This is the game of the year no matter what else happens. This has to be the game of the year. Denver Broncos improved to 5-0 with a win over the Dallas Cowboys, 51-48. Wow. Peyton Manning, might as well just hand him the MVP. Just, NFL Roger Goodell, I know you don't do anything anyways, but just go ahead and just give Peyton Manning the MVP already. I mean, it's incredible what Peyton Manning has done. He even ran for a touchdown. You're telling me now he can run the speed option? No, I'm just kidding. But he ran for a touchdown, which is pretty embarrassing for the Cowboys defense to do that. But Peyton Manning is just incredible. He did throw his first interception of the year, but what is his touchdown to interception ratio is 20-1 right now, which is best in the NFL. No other quarterback rating is even close to his. He's got what last time I checked, that was before this game, but it might have improved now. It was a 95.1 or something like that. Phillip Rivers had the second best with like an 85. There's a 10-point margin right there, and everybody else was high 70s to low 70s. I mean, there's no one that's close to what Peyton Manning is doing. So just hand him over to the MVP. Just give it to him. He deserves it. Both quarterbacks, like I just said with Peyton Manning, threw an interception. Romo had 506 yards with 5 passing touchdowns and an interception that sealed the deal basically for the Denver Broncos, that led them to kill the clock and kick the field goal to win the game. But Peyton Manning, records right here, or stats, 414 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. And like I said, he even ran for a touchdown, which is incredible that he can run. I've seen Phillip Rivers run. It's pretty bad. But seeing Peyton Manning run is like Shaq running. It's you don't really see it. It's pretty funny. Other news, quarterback Josh Freeman did sign with the Minnesota Vikings, which I think is a great decision and a huge upgrade for the Minnesota Vikings, who obviously needed a quarterback. Now this is a team to watch out for. And we'll have to see game 1, but I think Josh Freeman will do just fine with his new targets, with Greg Jennings at wide receiver, and also having this one guy. He's a running back. What's his name? Just kidding. Adrian Peterson, having him. That's what Adrian Peterson needed his entire career, was a quarterback. I know he had Brett Favre for that 1.5 year that he was there, but Brett Favre is an old fart. That's all he is. So having Josh Freeman will help them out. And but here's the interesting thing. He did sign a 1-year, $3 million deal, but the Vikings aren't paying for that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have to. I put Tampa Bay Rays. That's pretty funny. Tampa Bay Buccaneers will pay $6.9 that they owe him already from the previous contract that he had when he was at Tampa Bay. But they will also pay his $3 million contract that he signed with the Vikings. So now he's getting bank, basically. He's getting, $10 million? Almost $10 million, depending on how the figures go out and taxes and all that other good stuff. Anyways, all that just playing 1 year with Minnesota. And after that, and if he has a great year, if he takes Minnesota to the playoffs or just has a great stat year, he's a free agent and can sign anywhere he wants. And, that could be with, the Giants, and could be anywhere. No, I don't think I don't know. Giants are just too screwed up right now. And other news, Eagles quarterback Michael Vick is out versus the Buccaneers, speaking of the Buccaneers, because of his hamstring injury that he suffered in the second quarter and yesterday's game. And Buffalo Bills, they probably should have gone after Josh Freeman a little bit more than what the Vikings did. With E.J. Manuel out, the Bills will have to start Thad Lewis. T-H-A-D. Thad Lewis. Bills worked out Dennis Dixon and Pat White. Dixon didn't do a good enough job, was sent home, but Pat White stayed the night and was hoping for a contract, but Apparently, he's already scheduled to work out with the Raiders, which Terrell Pryor's had a good performance last night against a terrible defense, but just saying. So, I don't know if the Raiders still even need him, but starting Thad Lewis, I don't know. He wasn't even with, the Browns, and then he went to Detroit, and now he's with Buffalo. I don't know. He's not that good, obviously. So I would start Pat White, but now you wonder as a Bills, maybe we should have kept Ryan Fitzpatrick. I thought he was pretty good. I know he threw a lot of interceptions, but he also threw for a lot of yards. Just saying. And that's basically it for the NFL. But we will talk about a little bit of Major League Baseball in the last 5 minutes that we got. Right now it's the end of the second inning. Oakland A's and the Detroit Tigers are tied at 0. Zip. A's with 2 hits and Tigers with 1. The series is at 1-1. Tied, basically. Yeah, that's what it is. Next game is the Cardinals at the Pirates. Pirates do have a 2-1 lead, and it will start at 12 o'clock Pacific time. Next game is the Red Sox at the Tampa Bay Rays with a 2-0 lead for Boston. Looking to just close the series at Tampa Bay. Starts at 3 o'clock Pacific time. And the poor Braves at my Los Angeles Dodgers. LA leads the series 2-1, and the game starts at 6 o'clock Pacific time tonight, and I'm very excited. Hopefully the Dodgers can close it out, mainly because we need Clayton Kershaw to get his rest before we take on, I guess that'd be either the Cardinals or the Pirates. And hopefully it's the Pirates, because the Cardinals, I'd rather not play them. They have a really good offense. But anyways, NBA action starts tonight. Yes, it is October 7th. NBA action starts tonight. And let me see how much time I got here. All right, cool. We good. So I don't really know if this is regular season or it's still preseason. I'm really kind of lost on how the NBA works. But here are the games for tonight. These are Eastern times because I'm too lazy enough to switch it over to Pacific time. But most of you guys are probably in the Central, Eastern. I don't know. Either way. Toronto at Boston. Atlanta at Miami. Memphis and Chicago all at 7:30. Then Moscow at Minnesota Timberwolves. New Orleans Pelicans at Dallas at 8:30. Wow, that is a weird name. Whoever's playing Phoenix at 10 o'clock. Clippers in Portland. Sacramento at Golden State all at 10 o'clock. And, wow, we got through it, guys. We got through it. I didn't think I was going to get finished all of that because that was a whole lot. That was 2 pages of stuff just written down. Just for this episode. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Anyways, but the San Antonio Spurs have their first real game. They play, I think, Moscow on the 9th. But they play the Phoenix Suns on the 13th. And go Spurs, go. That is my team. Very disappointed that we got robbed against the Heat. Conspiracy theory right there. Yeah, no, not really. Next show, guys, will be on Thursday. Yes, this Thursday. Not Friday, Thursday. Friday, I got to work. I know. But next Thursday, we'll go ahead and, obviously what to watch for. Later that weekend, talk about the MLB Playoffs. Some NBA action that, I guess, what's that, the 10th? Okay. Talk a little about the NBA. Hopefully no injuries happen, but that'd be great for news to talk about. Again, NFL, college football, all that other good stuff. And real quick, forgot about it. So an NFL executive came out today and questioned Jadeveon Clowney's defensive end, Jadeveon Clowney, for South Carolina, his commitment to them. And he got benched last week or this week, upcoming week. He's going to get benched. I don't really know. But it's weird how he went from not only a top Heisman candidate and number 1 draft pick to just absolutely just no one's talking about him. And, he's messing up his career right now. And so if you watch his story, it shows you how to mess up your career in football. But if you guys liked this episode, you liked any other episodes, and you enjoy listening to my show, which I appreciate, make sure you guys hit the follow button on Spreaker.com. It really does help me out, and it helps me grow my channel, and also helps me get partnered with iHeartRadio, which I would so desperately want. But again, follow me on Twitter at @short_sports 24-7. Also on Facebook, YouTube, the Short Sports Show. And I'll see you guys Thursday. And goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. Laters.